Hey, this morning on my walk, I was thinking about the law of attraction, which I really don't know a ton about. I've studied it, I've read some books, I've listened to tons of videos talking about, hey, you can have the exact life you want in 90 days or less, or attract all the money you could ever need in 30 days or less. And that may very well work for a lot of people. And maybe I don't understand the principles, but that's not always worked for me. However, I would like, and if you feel this way, to talk to those who may not feel like they're manifestors, who may not feel like the law of attraction makes as much sense to them. I've had something that's worked in my life, and this is just my experience. I'm not at all saying this is exactly what you need to do. This is not a video of how to get everything you've ever wanted, even though I think that there are certainly steps that we can take to do that. But this is my manifesting for the non-manifestor. And what I've looked in my life, the pattern of how things have arrived, how things have just, quote, shown up, is a little bit different than maybe what is taught. And we're going to take the word attraction and we will break it down because I think that these are the things that, at least for me, when it comes to manifesting, seem to connect pretty well. First of all, the first word of attraction is attract. And what I hear a lot is that I'm supposed to look out there to the thing that I'm really wanting, the thing that I'm desiring, and I'm going to put together maybe some vision boards. I'm going to put together a lot of material around this. I'm going to get my mind consumed with this thing that I want, and that's going to put me in a better position to go after those things. And I think that is definitely true. It's like setting a goal. If I set a goal to do X, and I start researching it and I'm reading about it and I'm really trying to make an effort toward it, I think it is absolutely going to happen. I don't think that me just thinking about it makes it show up automatically, but I do think that the more that I'm somewhat consumed by it, more likely I'm going to head in that direction. So I do absolutely believe in that principle. However, this type of attraction is a little bit different. It's not in looking out there at the thing that I want. Instead, it's getting very centered and asking, what wants me? Not what do I want? What wants me? What in this universe, what in this world, what in my family, what in this physical frame, what wants me? What needs me? What is calling to me? What is attracting me? What do I feel pulled toward? And the truth is, if we're living our life with a lot of me focus, not what's drawing me, but it's about me and what I want and the things that I'm trying to attain, sometimes I'll miss what's calling me. I'll miss what magnet is pulling me that way. If I sit quietly and I think, what wants me? You know, what does Marla want? What is she hoping will flood from me? What do my kids want from me? What does my body want from me? What does spirit want from me? So if I'm sitting still long enough, I'm probably going to hear some of those messages. There's going to be a connection, even if it's simply intuition of knowing, wow, there's this thing that I've not been becoming that's right there that I'm being drawn to. So not so much what do I want, but what wants me? What is attracting me? What is attracting you like a magnet? So that's the first word, attract. Secondly is act. Now this is action's going to come next. So this is not the same thing in my mind. But when I'm very open to what wants me, the next thing I try to think about or get centered on is what within me already exists for that. So what are you right now? What are you or who are you right now that is being called? B-E caps, all caps, B-E, being. So that want or that desire or that pull, there's something within us most likely that already exists, right? So we've got to connect with that and say, oh, here's the thing that I need to make sure is going, is moving. Who do you need to become? B-E, capital again. Who do I need to become in order to fulfill this calling, this attraction? What emotions, values, characteristics need releasing or deploying or developing? So is this something that already exists? These emotions or these characteristics or these values that simply need to be deployed. They need to be released. They've been blocked. Or is it something that needs to be developed? In order for me to fulfill what I feel I'm being drawn to, I need to take on some different characteristics, or I need to have a different attitude, and I need to have, maybe my value system needs to change. Because if it doesn't, that thing that's pulling can't actually be fulfilled. I always love to use very unprofound, very simple examples. A lot of people have these like deep spiritual insights. Mine is always seems to be like real superficial. It's like if my body is calling me to be healthy, but I don't have a value system around nutrition, I'm probably going to need to develop that. However, because in my past I've got a lot of physical culture, I may be being called and attracted to and pulled to getting in shape, and that's already within me, but I've got all these other things going on, and so I've got to release it. It's already there. I've got to now allow that to become prevalent, right? So that's the act. The attract is not do what I want, but what wants me. The act is who am I right now? Who are you right now? That you've got to make sure that that's being released, it's being deployed, and if we don't have that characteristic, that we're going to develop it. And then finally, the action. Action. Instead of me sitting down and just making a plan to attain this thing, because I'm going to tell you, I can make some plans. I can create some structures. I am a master of step by step. I can put a timeline together. I'm laughing because I've got a training schedule for a half marathon that I think I did back in 2014. It's 10 years ago. It's still up because I followed that plan. I know how to follow something. I don't look something up on the internet and go about the business. But instead, my question now is, given what I'm being attracted to, given the act that I have right now, who I am, what loving behaviors can't help but happen because I'm being drawn? What loving behaviors can't help but happen because I'm being drawn? And what loving behaviors will I perform because I'm being drawn? So now I'm not just trying to look at this goal and go, oh, I can attain that. What are the loving behaviors? Not just any behaviors, not just any steps, not just any action. What loving action can I take? This radically changes my direction. It changes what I do by far. And this is just recent for me because I've always been a person who made the goal and just went for it and achieved it, or made a lot of course corrections on the way to make sure I'd hit that outcome. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I hope that comes through very clear. Nothing wrong with doing that. But if we want to be more aligned, more centered, if we want to feel like I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing, this process may be a little bit better for you. Joe Dispenza says this: loving your future into life. Loving your future into life. I love that. So when we attract, what is it that wants you? What am I now? What are you now? And what do we need to become? And then finally, how are we going to love this future into life? How does this future that we've been drawn to become real? I think it becomes real through loving behavior, loving actions. So there's my manifestation equation or process for those of us who may not be manifestors or never thought about it this way before, or don't really understand the law of attraction, that I still don't really understand, but I do know that when I follow these principles of attract, act, and action, some really incredible things show up in my life. And it's not things that I ever planned, and it wasn't goals I tried to reach, but life ends up being a lot more cohesive, a lot more peaceful, filled with a lot more love and a lot more joy. Be blessed.